Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Jaxon Show. I'm your host, Jackson Solomon, and episode 19 today is going to be talking about the NFL head coaching carousel. Plus, we got a preview of the Super Bowl. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, so NFL head coaching carousel. The NFL head coaching carousel. We got seven teams that got new head coaches this off-season. We're going to start in Foxborough, New England, with the Patriots. They hired head coach Mike Vrabel. Give them an A+ for this move. I think it was a great move, bringing in a former player, a player that's familiar with the system that Belichick used to run, and I think it'll be a good move for the Patriots. Now, moving on to the next team, the Las Vegas Raiders. They hired Pete Carroll. I give this a B+ because I honestly thought Pete Carroll would retire and stay retired. I don't think that this is a very good move for the organization. Because I just don't trust Pete Carroll to lead a team to a Super Bowl. So that's what these grades are based on. Whether the head coach of the football team can take them to a Super Bowl and really grow the talent that they currently have. So, next we get the Bears with Ben Johnson. I know a lot of Lions fans upset about this one, but I got this as an A+. I think that Ben Johnson although I thought that he was, I knew he was going to take a head coaching job, but I would have preferred it if he stayed in Detroit for another season. He signs with the Bears, and the Bears, we talk about it, they have a decent offense. I think the primary thing that the Bears need is an offensive lineman. You've got maybe another wide receiver, because outside of, I think, Keenan Allen, who's getting older, Rome Odunze, there wasn't a lot. I don't think there was enough chemistry between DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. So there's that. Up next, we got the Jets. They hired Aaron Glenn. I give this move a B, just because I think Aaron Glenn is a good coach. I think he has the potential to take this team to a Super Bowl, but I don't think that he will succeed in New York. Unfortunately for Aaron Glenn, I just don't think New York is a type of organization that will win another Super Bowl. I think that eventually he'll fail like Robert Saleh did. He'll get fired, and he'll be rehired as a defensive coordinator. Because honestly, I think this signing up to be in this position is it's bad to sign up and coach the Jets, in my opinion. But I am known for horrible takes. I did say that the Tom Brady Super Bowl, Tom Brady would not win the Super Bowl in his first year in Tampa, and I did say the Chiefs wouldn't three-peat. So I don't know about that. Jaguars, I got Liam Cohen. I think gave this movie a B+. I think Liam Cohen can get the most out of Trevor Lawrence like he did Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay. I think that he can do great things. Although the Jaguars have the 5th overall pick, and although I've seen a ton of mock drafts, I honestly think that this team need a defensive back, right? Looked at a lot of mock drafts. A lot of them have Will Johnson or Mason Graham going to the Jaguars. But it's got to be a defensive back. I think it's Will Johnson. I think that he would fit into the you think the rest of you go offensive line. Now, I got the 2 worst head coach signings of this offseason. I got the Dallas Cowboys. I gave them an F. They hired Brian Schottenheimer. Honestly, I have no idea what the Cowboys were doing in the situation. They fired Jerry Jones, decided to fire Mike McCarthy. Then they looked out and they searched all these options and they settled on Brian Schottenheimer. And I will just say this. This is going to be the most rough 3 years to be a Cowboys fan I've ever seen. I'm sorry. I just don't trust this guy. I don't trust him to take you to a Super Bowl. I give this move a the F because I just don't see this move succeeding. The difference between this move and the Aaron Glenn move where I also don't see Aaron Glenn succeeding is I think Aaron Glenn can be decent in New York. I think that he can, make the Jets defense better. I can give it an A, but I just don't think that I think the Cowboys move possibly the worst possible candidate without a doubt. And last one is the Saints. They reportedly signed Kellen Moore out of the of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the reason I'm just putting this out there is it is a rumor, but Adam Schefter said that Moore is shaping up to be the next Saints head coach. So if this is true, I won't give this the worst possible grade. I give it probably a D+. I think it could be decent. I think that there's a lot to go around in this New Orleans for Kellen Moore, and I think the biggest thing is a quarterback. They don't have a pick to draft a quarterback, and so if they don't, they're going to be stuck with, I think, Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, or something like that, and they're going to they're going to need to start tanking and start a rebuild earlier than expected with a new head coach who's been in a system that was already established from the year prior. I don't like the Kellen Moore move because you could have hired maybe a more defensive coach. It just depends on what they do in free agency. But supposedly, you heard it from me, you heard it from Adam Schefter, Kellen Moore is the next head football coach of the New Orleans Saints. That's the rumors that are going around. Now, here are a couple of guys I thought that should have been hired. I got Brian Flores. I think he should have went for the Cowboys job. Great defensive coach. You've already got a well-established offense. I think Schottenheimer can be the offensive coordinator in Dallas, and I think that he would be really successful. And I also have Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, going to the Saints. I would have loved to seen this Saints defense. I would have loved to seen them build up because they have a pick to draft a defensive player or an offensive lineman. So I would have loved to seen this play out the way it did, but supposedly they hired Kellen Moore. And the other thing is Steve Spagnuolo. I don't think he would ever leave the Chiefs in just the history of the NFL and 16. So that is your NFL head coaching carousel review. Couple of A's, couple of B's, 1 F, and a D+. That's for me. That's your head coaching carousel. All right, so now we have their Super Bowl preview. We have the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to try and three-peat versus the Philadelphia Eagles trying to make history. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 54, 56, and 57. They're trying to be the first ever team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row, while the Eagles won Super Bowl 52. They're looking to win their second Super Bowl in franchise history. This is a rematch of Super Bowl 56, where the Eagles and Chiefs played in Glendale, Arizona. The Philadelphia Eagles were winning at halftime, 20-14, and the Chiefs came back and won it with a game-winning field goal from Harrison Butker and the final score of 38-35. Keys to the game: the Chiefs have won 17 straight one-score games. If the Eagles want to win this game, they got to keep it out of reach for Kansas City. The coin toss, one of the biggest things in the NFL, the Super Bowl coin toss, it's broadcast on TV. The coin toss has gone 50-50 on both sides. 29 was heads, and 28 was tails in the 58 Super Bowls in the history of the NFL. Now, majority of the team that wins the toss loses the game. The Chiefs, on the other hand, are the only team in the last 10 years to win the Super Bowl after winning the coin toss. So you want to pick the winner, root for whoever loses the coin toss. And next, star players to watch. You got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. On the defensive side for the Chiefs, you got Nick Bolton and Trent McDuffie. And for the Eagles, you have Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley on the offensive side of the thing. And the Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell on the defensive side of the football. Now, Devontae Smith is struggling for a hamstring injury. Reports are coming in that he will play on Super Bowl Sunday. Here are other little fun facts. The Eagles have announced they will be wearing their home green uniforms, and the Chiefs will wear their white jerseys for this game, and Kendrick Lamar is going to perform at the half. That is your Super Bowl preview. Alright, so the last segment of today's show will be my predictions for the NFL awards. Or not my predictions, but who I think the award goes to the most. Now, this is going to be based on on-field performance. It's going to be based on stats, stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. I have my MVP going to Lamar Jackson. Honestly, I think that Josh Allen is going to win it overall. You can count that as a prediction. But overall, I got Lamar Jackson winning MVP. And he was the most valuable player in the league this year. 41 touchdowns to the air. Had just an insane season. He did it on the ground as well, not to mention Derrick Henry in the backfield next to him. I think he should win MVP this year without a doubt. He's one of the best in the league. Hats off to Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. They kept this race pretty close, but overall I think Lamar Jackson should win it. Now, Offensive Player of the Year, I give this to Saquon Barkley. He almost broke the rushing yard. He almost broke the single season rushing record. And so Saquon Barkley, the things he's done, he's one of the best players in the league. Definitely did it behind the Eagles offensive line. He was very good and very efficient. I hope he stays healthy and is able to continue the success throughout the rest of his career. That's why I give Saquon Barkley the Offensive Player of the Year, just because of the stats and what he's done on the field, the highlight plays, the touchdowns, stuff like that. Now, Defensive Player of the Year, I give it to Pat Surtain. Now, Pat Surtain's stats don't look impressive, but that's probably because quarterbacks don't throw him the ball. Every time the ball has been thrown his way, he doesn't allow the ball to be completed. And he's one of the best lockdown corners in the league, probably the best. I give him Defensive Player of the Year over, I give him Defensive Player of the Year over some really good candidates. Myles Garrett, Trey Hendrickson, TJ Watt, and Zach Bond. I give this to Pat Surtain because he was a lockdown corner. He gave the opportunity for his defensive line to get to the quarterback, and he did an excellent job. So, with that being said, Defensive Player of the Year. Now we go to Offensive Rookie of the Year, and this was a tight race. It was between two names. And overall, I want to say congratulations to Brock Bowers, but he's not my Offensive Rookie of the Year. I got to give this to Jane Daniels. His stats were impressive. His team did very good. And the way he was just a leader on the field was really impressive. I like what he did. And I'm very impressed. I love to see it, and I want to see more of it. See more of what this kid can do. So I like Jane Daniels. I love what he's doing. And yeah, he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, Defensive Rookie of the Year, I was between two big names, but his stats weren't as impressive. This is where the stats really step in, so this is why I had to give it to Quinyon Mitchell of the Philadelphia Eagles. He wins my Defensive Rookie of the Year. Overall, it was a two-horse race the entire time. Really between Quinyon Mitchell. He's basically the same reason I give him Defensive Rookie of the Year, the same reason I gave Pat Surtain Defensive Player of the Year. Lockdown corner, held his own, did a very good job. I remember they played the Bengals this year. He held his own against Jamar Chase. Locked him up, locked him down. So I love seeing cornerbacks do their thing on the field, especially Quinyon Mitchell. Did an exceptional job. Now, Comeback Player of the Year. This was between a couple of big names. You got Joe Burrow. You got J.K. Dobbins from my Los Angeles Chargers, baby. Christian Gonzalez, DeMar Hamlin, and Sam Darnold. And overall, I give it to Sam Darnold. Shout out my boy Ryan McGillis. He's a Vikings fan. Sad end to the season, but your boy Sam Darnold, I give him Comeback Player of the Year just because of the things that we said about Sam Darnold. Although I don't see him having much success in the future, I do applaud him for having this outstanding year that he had this year. And so, yeah, really good job by the Vikings. Really good job by Sam Darnold doing his thing, although the last 2 games of the season didn't go his way. And Coach of the Year. This was between a couple of big-time names. I love all the candidates, O'Connell, Peyton, Quinn, but there's really only one player I could give this, or only one coach I could give this to, and that would be Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions. Really between Andy Reid and Dan Campbell, but Andy Reid, I feel like we've seen this before. He's had incredible seasons, impressive seasons, yes, but when you win back-to-back Super Bowls, I think voter fatigue starts to settle in. And so I give this to Dan Campbell because he did something in the history of Detroit sports history that was never done before, right? He had the number 1 seed in the NFC. He had a 15-win season. He beat one of the best teams in the NFC to do it, played in one of the toughest divisions. If you played 2 of the toughest teams, played 2 playoff teams. If you, twice this year, he played Tampa Bay, Los Angeles. Those are some more playoff teams. And he embarrassed teams as well. This man is a true coach. He is who he is. He's true to himself. He keeps it real. And that's one of the things that me personally as a football fan, I love about Dan Campbell. So those are my official NFL awards. Of course, you can always make your vote. I think it might be, it's pretty late to be voting on Wednesday night, but still, you can always make your vote for the NFL honors. And those are my NFL awards for the 2024-25 NFL season. All right, I want to say thank you so much for tuning into the Jaxon Show. I always enjoy it. I hope you always enjoy it. Don't forget to tune in next time. Thank you so much for listening, and bring a friend.